Are the expectations we have of the world unjust? Do we view the world how it is or how we want to see it? I've come to realize that a lot of my time nowadays is being spent on determining whether or not my expectations are grounded in reality, whether or not my expectations are real things that should be occurring, or whether or not my view of the world is something that is actually positive in truth. But what is this truth anyway? I feel like the whole premise of truth and the idea of truth is inconsistent with the idea of fact. Because I feel like fact in our world is mostly just common belief, mass belief of a certain thing that we've accepted as fact. Because there were many things in the past in the spectrum of like science and stuff, like for example like eugenics, things were accepted as fact that were just riddled with the bias of the people who put out the idea because it benefited them. Now I need to determine whether or not I'm putting out these facts about reality and existence and these expectations, and determine whether or not it's subject to my own bias because I want it to be that way, or because maybe I'm victimizing myself in a certain way, or maybe we victimize ourselves too much and fall victim to the idea that things aren't the way they are supposed to be. And the main like premise with that, the main thing that's like stopping a little bit is because like if you relinquish all your expectations of the world and let things be as they are, then aren't you like missing some of the realer aspects of life? And the fact that you can't determine what's like a real aspect is also a thing, because if we can't determine what is real, how can we disdain from that? Like, how can we distinguish between the real and the fake and determine whether or not these things should be acted on, or we should take a break with certain things, or let other things like progress as we wish them to progress? The thing is with the self and your self expectation, I feel like sometimes we expect such a high thing from ourselves that we are almost unable to imagine other people having low expectations of themselves or low expectations of you. It's almost as if like, because I have such a high expectation of myself, I think others think or others think I think that others have that same expectation of me, and I think that they should have that expectation of themselves because they have that of me. But all of it is sprung from my high expectation of myself and projecting that onto other people. And I think control is a major part of the whole idea of expectation. We think we're in control, so we have some type of expectation as to how things might occur, but in reality, we have no control. In the things that which we are able to control, the expectation is more of an intuition. It's like if I punch somebody in the chest, they're gonna get mad. You know, that type of expectation is caused by me, and something can always go against expectation. Maybe they like getting hit, but nine times out of ten, no. It's like one of those things where the outcomes are either blank or blank, or they're either two subsets of like some type of emotional response, and you know how to differentiate from which is which. But with things in like the spectrum of human relation and human nature, it's hard to determine like how someone's actions reflect their intentions. Because even myself, like, it's not like I openly outwardly act as if what I'm doing is exemplary of like how I feel inside. Because there's definitely some stuff that you don't always express, or it's difficult to express. So how can you hold yourself to such an unrealistic standard? But we still do it nonetheless, and that's why I think that overthought comes in. And the whole premise of overthought is, I feel, kind of contradictory in the sense of like knowing. Because if we knew, um, um, or maybe it's because we know that we overthink, and we take these like unrealistic situations and then we throw them into our head and try to make sense out of them, and we come to find out that the overthought is kind of always like fighting for what you um, want to be the fact, or what is the fact. I'm still not too certain about that. Like, the whole premise of overthought is like battling between which perspective to take in on a certain situation. And I think that whatever side like you try to rebuttal for is the side that you want it to be, and maybe the side that's grounded in more reality. We also disregard logic in the sense that, um, we sometimes act irrationally and illogically as it pertains to human interaction, whether it be like with a friend or maybe in a relationship or maybe just with anybody like a colleague. We like expect a certain thing and we kind of base our whole opinion and our view of that person based on that thing. And you might be asking like, why is that illogical? It's illogical because you don't know what's going on inside other people's head, and it's difficult to kind of project the image of how you view other people to feel and have that be like grounded in real thought, because you never truly know how others feel. We never truly know how others feel. We only have an understanding of what they've told us. And I think that's a major thing. Like, it's not really about communication, it's about comprehension. The understanding of what others have to give is more important than just knowing, you know? Because I may like express something in one way and they may express something in another. And it's so much easier to, you know, I don't know. It's one thing to like state that you want it a certain way, but some people just can't give, those aspects. Like the person who plays bass in your band isn't always going to be the keyboard player. Everyone has a specific role and specific subset of things that they are able to do, and we have to take the time to truly accept that. Otherwise, we're just going to be stuck in a state where we feel like we're not getting enough from our external environment. Like the world isn't going to just hand you stuff on a silver platter. You have to work for stuff, and it's filled with a lot of ambiguity. The world is filled with a lot of, not knowing and uncertainty. And I think that the first step to limit your expectations and start living in some sort of reality is to lower your, you know, worry